Hello, horse lovers. My goal with this channel is to not only do reviews of horse books, movies, and television shows, but I also want to cover basically everything to do with horses, whether that be talking about famous horses, horse health issues, and sometimes training issues. And my goal is to make every other video a factual one. Well, my last video was a review, so today I'd like to talk about desensitizing your horse. And I'd like to share a personal story about myself and Bucky. Now, Bucky was trained using fear training. He was taught to react in fear in order to look showy. Get a big trot out of him, get him moving fast, get him to really pick up those legs. Nice looking in the show ring, maybe. Not so good if you want a dependable horse to take you for a drive or a ride. And really, there's no sense to it. There's no real benefit that comes from having a horse be afraid of anything. So, when I bought Bucky, I had a lot of issues to deal with. And like I've said in other videos, to be honest, at first, I thought I made a huge mistake. But with the help of some very good friends, I set out to help uh, get him past all the issues he'd had. Well, one of the things that's pretty classic with desensitizing a horse is to get them used to pool noodles. Well, I started working with him with those, and the first time I ever exposed him to a pool noodle, that when I didn't have someone with me, I should say. There was one other time. But the first time I ever worked with him on my own with it, I showed him the red pool noodle. He didn't care. Showed him the purple pool noodle. He didn't care. I picked up the blue pool noodle, and he reacted like you would expect a person to react if they had a gun held on them. He completely panicked. And I don't know how many people have heard the expression a horse kite, which basically means when the horse jumps straight up in the air and it looks like they're on the end of a kite line. Yeah, Bucky was a horse kite for a moment there, and then he was loose, so I, wasn't trying to hold him or anything in case something like that would happen. If a horse is going to run from you, don't hold on to the lead line. You're only going to get dragged. We were in a controlled environment in an arena, so the furthest he was going to go was the arena wall. He wasn't going to get hurt or anything. Things were under control, as much as they ever can be when you're working with a horse. So he freaked out and he ran to the other side of the arena. A lot of people might say that horses are colorblind, and yes, a lot of scientific evidence does support that, but Bucky has always reacted badly to the color blue, which is weird because, oddly enough, blue is my favorite color. And I've often worn blue around him. His saddle pad that I bought special for him was blue, and I really didn't think that he would react that strongly to it. But then one time after this, I took him for a drive, and I noticed he had a fearful reaction to blue flowers on the side of the road. So there was definitely something about the color blue. And one time I was riding him in the arena with my instructor's guidance, and he reacted fearfully to a blue lead line that was left laying. So there was definitely something about that color. I believe that he had a lot of past trauma with that color. I don't know all he went through, and to be honest, I don't want to know the half of it. The things that I do know about his past make me sick to think of. But I started getting him more and more used to the pool noodles and to blue things, and I wanted to share with you the result of that in the couple videos I took earlier this spring when I was rubbing him down with pool noodles and showing that and showing that he's not afraid of them anymore. Now, it took desensitization, but I also want to share the best advice I was ever given about training a horse. When I brought Bucky to where he lives now, I asked the lady who takes care of him for me, can you help me get past all his spookiness? Can you help me desensitize him? And she said, I could, but the best thing is if he learns that you will never ask him to do something that hurts and you're never going to hurt him. And Bucky came to learn that about me, that I'm not going to ever hit him. I'm not going to expose him to a situation, at least not deliberately, where he could get hurt. Accidents can always happen. When you have a horse, they're unavoidable to a certain extent. Obviously, you take as many precautions as possible. But Bucky has learned to trust me, especially through Join Up, which will be my next factual discussion video when we talk about that. But I thought I would share these moments with you just to show how far Bucky's come since the day when he freaked out at the sight of a blue pool noodle. You can see just how different things are now. Okay, here's Bucky, if I can get the camera right. And we're going to pet him with the dreaded red pool noodle. At least it's not the dreaded blue pool noodle. Oh yes, can't you tell he's terrified? So scary. How about under the belly? Oopsies, can I touch you under there? Look how nice and still you're being, yes. Okay, here's the dreaded blue pool noodle. Oh my god, it's blue, so is everything I'm wearing. He used to really freak out at the blue. Pet the belly. Can I go between the legs? Kind of hard to hold the camera at the same time, but yeah, you don't care, do ya? Now, when you are desensitizing a horse, you always want to do both sides because they see on each side individually, so what he knows won't hurt him on one side, he's not going to trust on the other. How about the back? That might be a mountain lion. You don't care. Good boy.